You said get the yawns out, hit the record button as you were still yawning.
Maybe not quite in that order. It could be simultaneous. Oh, don't.
You did it to me.
I know what I did. It's nothing about you. All right, AJ, 5 minutes on the clock, as always. I want to talk to you a little bit about what tends to happen sometimes this time of year with SDRs, really making that transition from Q1 into Q2, because what we've seen happen a lot is you come into Q1, it's tough, right? You're coming off the holidays. Companies are more focused internally a lot of the times, and you push really hard, really focus on hitting that Q1 goal. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But either way, you're feeling pretty exhausted at the end of it, maybe a little burnt out even. But let's say you hit that goal, you have a great time, and then boom, Q2 hits you in the face. All of a sudden, you got to move on, right? You can't bask in the glory. You can't, take stuff you did then and use it in Q2. You're stuck. It can be demoralizing, right? So I'd love to pick your brain a little bit about what different strategies you've used in the past or you've seen used where an SDR can carry that momentum between quarters, even if it doesn't really feel like there's much connection there.
Yeah, it's a really important topic. I dubbed it the Q2 blues when I was an SDR, because it happened every April and May. I did exactly like what you're talking about. You sort of hit this high and then your slate gets wiped clean, and it's like, okay, I built up some long-term pipeline, sure, and that's a great way to help you understand the impact that you're making on your organization. These longer term 6-month, 12-month out conversations you can kind of count on to have later down in the year, keep that for momentum. But I also used it as a time to reflect on what did I do well, what could I possibly improve on, and who can I lean on to learn from and improve or change up some of my processes, systems, approach, etc. And this is all a very thinly veiled pitch for Growth Month. We got you, listener.
I was gonna lead you. I was gonna ask, who are these people that you leaned on? Where are these resources, AJ?
Well, you can find a lot of these resources coming up in June. Growth Month is being put on by AutoClose, and we're happy to be participating. Very excited and honored to be involved. They're doing a full month-long conference where every business day in the month of June, they have 2 sessions, one focused on startup growth and one focused on sales growth, led by experts that you can learn from. So people who, let's just say you feel that you've depleted a lot of your accounts, right? And you need to work on rebuilding your pipeline, and you're looking for new ways to do that. Bang, sessions on how you can effectively build up your pipeline from scratch. Say that a lot of the messaging that you used in Q1 has gone stale. I don't know. We had a SDR internally who said, sometimes the wind blows and your message just doesn't work anymore. Maybe that happened to you, and you're looking for different ways to pull in trigger events to help make your messaging more relevant. Sessions on that. A bunch of different ways for you to reframe and think about how you're approaching the sales dev position. Learn from experts and people who have done it and are seeing success today. And you can take that back and go into Q3 with a whole new mindset, right? You've got a bunch of different things that you want to try, some experiments you can run, some different messaging. That's the best way as an SDR for you to take some of that momentum that you had and reinvigorate yourself and push forward. Because if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, it gets stale, right? So you want to change some stuff. I know, right? This definition of insanity. You want to change some stuff up, have a different approach, and that tends to just light everyone's fire again, and you can go back into Q3 with some renewed energy and focus and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and I love that. And it's one of those things where it's easier said than done, right? It can be hard to convince yourself to take the time to read a blog, watch a webinar that's going to help you more in the long run than just 5 or 10 more cold calls, right? But I feel like a lot of times, especially, right, you're back in Q2, you're back at 0, you're really focused on your own personal goals without thinking a little bit more long-term, a little bit more about how you want to grow as an SDR versus how you want the organization to grow and how you want to help that. So do you have any advice for either managers or SDRs to help sort of prompt and promote, not just for Growth Month, but any sort of external resources that are really out there to help an SDR gain additional skills?
For sure. I would say So I'm a member of many different sales communities. I'm actually wearing the Sales Hacker sweatshirt right now, totally unintentional, but like Sales Hacker, Rev Genius, SD Revolution, there's these communities out there that exist to do exactly like what you just said. The ability for you to focus on your personal growth while also helping boost company growth, because they work in tandem, right? If you invest in yourself and you connect with the right people and you find the right resources and you build a system around how you can grow your own skill set, then in turn you'll get better at the job, which then increases the overall company revenue, which means they can reinvest in you, which means maybe you can now look at paid resources or courses or certifications or whatever to keep increasing your skills to then grow company revenue, to reinvest in you. It's this wonderful virtuous cycle where you can find resources now that will ultimately help build a foundation for you and for company growth moving forward. So yeah, Rev Genius, SD Rev, Sales Hacker, a bunch of other communities. I'll link in the description of this episode a resource sheet that we put together for sales communities that you can join, learn and grow there. I don't know if you had any other resources in mind, Alex, to leave the audience with that they might be able to upskill with and help their own development.
Nothing specific. I've seen the sheet you're going to share. It's a good one. It's pretty comprehensive. So I'll leave them to that. I know every community is a little bit different and has their own pros and cons and things that draw different kinds of people and different kinds of SDRs in. So I'll leave all the exploration up to those curious SDRs and managers.
Exciting. But yeah, growth month, communities. Let's make June a great month.
All right, AJ, 15 seconds. Tell everyone about opt-in.
Opt-in, quick, 5-minute videos, no fluff, actionable tips. You can find us on our YouTube, on our LinkedIn, on our Instagram, and on the website, demandrev.com.